Morning friends, happy Friday, how the heck you doing? And the second video of the day that's quite similar to the first in that it demonstrates how much the press will try and manipulate what you and I, dear reader, are expected to believe about the non-working, taxpayer-funded royal family. And this is really for amateur royal reporters that think they form part of the royal rota that are all over TikTok saying how brilliant the royal family are, when we know they're an embarrassment to the nation. Prince William and Kate Middleton's secret to successful marriage boils down to one word. Well, if I ask my friends about what one word that would be, most people would say separation. And the same if I interviewed 100 people in the street. The article is absolutely dross. There's no sources whatsoever. This is designed to set the narrative about what you and I are expected to believe about this lazy bunch of pantomime characters and charlatans. People in the UK are waking up to this. However much the Royal Rota want to issue free PR and tell you how great they are, the fact is that if any of these people were one of your relatives, you would shun them. They do nothing. They cost a fortune, money which could be diverted elsewhere. They've got no notable achievements and they shelter criminals. It's that simple. A complete embarrassment to the UK, and it's time for change in 2026 and 2027. Morning friends, happy Friday, how the heck you doing? I loved my walk yesterday, thank you for coming along with me. I got a bit of a tan, and Lydia, also if you're watching this, if you know, you know, can you please iron your t-shirts, because even I iron mine. Get to the point, Martin. Princess Kate, different name again, was the catalyst for Earthshot, and she'll go to India this year. I cannot imagine Kate being the catalyst for anything apart from the figurehead, the international figurehead of how to be absolutely lazy. But the media are being manipulated yet again by Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace, Lydia, because they work as an unpaid PR firm on behalf of the non-working taxpayer-funded royal family. When that taxpayer-funded royal family wants to improve their image, they selectively give the media snippets of information in return for positive coverage. It's the biggest media scam in the world. The royals should do their own PR based on the good they do. But we know we can't do that because there's no measurable good coming from any member of this family. Nothing to do with Earthshot. I very much doubt she'll go to India. Most people that have a rational sense in their head are able to process that Kate and William don't even live together.
It's tradition, Nazim. It's tradition to stick with the royal... Yeah, you know the tradition of the royal family? Murder, genocide, rape, dole bludgeoning. Yeah? How did the royal family even become the royal family? Like, we know how other families became famous. What about the Kardashians? They had sex on tape. That's how they... Okay, here's a shorthand history. Hundreds of years ago, they were just a bogan family in England that woke up one morning, went to their neighbour's house, knocked on the door, killed their neighbours, stole their property, and were like sick, and they just did that over and over, knocking on their neighbours' doors, killing them, accumulating more and more wealth and property, and after a while, you know, I mean, which makes sense now, given property prices, but back then, you know, you could buy a house for a cough. They just did that over and over. And then after a while, you know, they'd call themselves lords. The most powerful lord got to be called king. And then at some point in history, you know, someone was like, hey, enough of this white-on-white violence. Why don't we take these fun and games to the rest of the world? And then they colonised the rest of the world. They created the third world. The third world wasn't just inherently poor. The British are largely to blame. They destroyed people and countries. They went everywhere. North and South America, Central America, Australia. They enslaved Aboriginal people. New Zealand. They just rocked up. Africa, Sri Lanka. We were colonised by the British. India? They rocked up to India. Indians were just standing there on the shores like, hello, welcome to India. Can we interest you in a table for... They've just walked right in. Look at that. Wow. Look at that, Raj. The confidence of a white man. Okay, no worries. Make yourselves at home. They've taken my home. Okay, nobody. Wow. 200 years later, they're like, it's getting a bit late. Do you need a lift home? We are a nation of taxi drivers. If you like, one of us can drop you. We're also very hungry. You've sent all our food to England, including spices for some reason. I don't know why. You can't understand flavour, but anyway. We are very hungry. And the British were like, no, don't worry, we're leaving. We're just going to cut your country in half. And they did. They cut the country in half, killed 1.5 million people immediately from starvation, 15 million people were displaced. That whole region has been warring for decades since. They drained $40 trillion out of India, making it now impossible for them to ever come out of poverty. And they just left, took everything, took the best shit. Indians were just standing there like, okay, thank you very much for coming. Before you leave, would you like to complete a short customer satisfaction survey of our colonization? And they took everything, unashamedly. They took the Kohinoor diamond. You know that diamond, which is now valued at over $550 million? They stole it on their way out, and it's on one of the royal family's crowns. The Queen often wore it on her head. She did the Christmas message wearing it. Everyone be nice to each other, look after each other, be kind to each other. And Indians would just be looking at that like, give us back that fucking rock, bitch. They didn't steal it. It wasn't a war. They stole her from an 11-year-old boy who was in possession of it. They stole it from him and they left. This is supposed to be the head of the church, the royal family. I'm familiar with the Archbishop's Christianity. It doesn't say thou shalt not steal, except if it's like this really sick diamond, you know. According to, the Queen and King's Archbishop, the only thing he's supposed to steal from a child is his virginity, according to... Not sure if that'll make the edit, but...
Squaddies, let's keep it a stack for a second. The UK media isn't even doing journalism anymore. They are straight up running unpaid PR for the royals, and it is hilarious to watch. I mean, come on. William and Kate walk outside, breathe fresh air, wave at two people, and the tabloids drop a front-page headline like they just solved world hunger. Prince William shows heroic dedication by walking across the lawn. Are you serious right now? Meanwhile, regular working folks are out here pulling 40, 50 hours a week, surviving on 4 hours of sleep, dodging bills, and nobody is throwing us a parade. Imagine pulling up to your job, sitting at your desk for 15 minutes, waving at your boss, and getting an article written about your unrivaled work ethic. You'd get fired on the spot. But the media wants us to sit here and clap like seal pups because these two showed up, smiled for 3 photos, and called it a day. The math isn't mathing. They take a bare minimum appearance, throw some dramatic music on it, and spin it into a historic achievement. It's wild. The press treats basic attendance like a gold medal performance, and the rest of us are just sitting here going, "You really think we're that gullible?" We see the game now. You can't keep calling zero effort deep dedication and expect everyday people not to laugh. We're tired of the fairy tale hype. Give it a rest. Every single time the internet starts whispering, right on cue, the tabloids hit us with it. The one-word secret to their flawless marriage. Are you kidding me? One word? What is it? Payroll? Prenup? Because it sure ain't communication. Let's be real for a second. Notice how these gushing fairy tale articles only drop when things start looking a little shaky. The moment a weird rumor starts trending or somebody looks miserable at a public event, boom, suddenly an anonymous insider leaks to the press that their love is stronger than ever because they practice mindful listening or some nonsense. That is not a marriage update. That is corporate damage control. That's HR putting out a press release because the office vibes are off. Think about how ridiculous this looks to regular people. If you and your partner get into a massive argument over who was supposed to take out the trash, do you call a publicist? Do you call a royal reporter and say, "Hey, tell the neighborhood that our love is built on mutual respect and weekly date nights"? No. You sit on the couch, eat your takeout in dead silence, and figure it out like normal humans. You don't pitch a story to People magazine to cover up the fact that somebody forgot to do the dishes. Real couples don't talk through sources close to the couple, they talk face to face. So whenever you see these glossy headlines talking about the magic formula behind a celebrity romance, don't buy it. It's not magic, it's PR spinning faster than a blender with the lid off.
Squaddies, let's talk about this so-called exhausting schedule, because the math is completely out of control. The press wants us to believe these two are out here breaking their backs for the country. You read the news and it sounds like they're pulling double shifts in a coal mine, but then you look at the actual calendar and it's pure comedy. 3 hours of cutting a ribbon, a 10-minute photo op holding a teacup, 2 waves out of a car window, and then boom, they're off on a 6-week summer vacation. Must be nice. If a regular person tried that schedule at a normal job, you'd be fired before lunch on Tuesday. Imagine calling your boss and saying, "Hey, I showed up, smiled for 2 photos, and cut a piece of string. I'm taking the next 2 months off to recover." You'd be packing your desk in a cardboard box. Yet the tabloids expect us to clap and cry tears of joy over basic attendance. They call it selfless public service. Come on. Service is waking up at 5 a.m., riding the bus in the rain, and grinding for 40 hours just to pay rent. Taking a helicopter to a garden party isn't hard labor. Regular folks, you right through the fluff now. You can't wrap a 2-hour work week in a fancy suit, call it dedication, and expect us not to laugh. The illusion is gone, people. We see the calendar. Let's keep it a buck for a second. Everybody knows the deal by now. Even the tabloids pushing the glossy covers know it, and you already know the late Queen saw right through the fluff years ago. William and Kate do not work. They do not grind. Look at the setup. A normal person wakes up, hustles on 2 hours of sleep, clocks in for a brutal 40-hour week, and gets a paycheck that disappears after rent and groceries. Meanwhile, these two pull up to an event in a chauffeured ride, cut a red ribbon with giant safety scissors, shake hands for 20 minutes, and the press acts like they just climbed Mount Everest in flip-flops. Give me a break. That isn't a job. That's a high-end photo session. The whole operation is a total whitewash, and regular people are sick of being treated like we can't count calendar days. They do 3 appearances in a month and then take a 4-week vacation to recover from the pressure. Recover from what? The heavy lifting of holding a teacup. If you tried taking a month-long break at your job because you waved at a crowd on Tuesday, your manager would have your replacement sitting in your chair before you even reached the parking lot. That's why folks on the street are laughing at the headlines now. The magic trick expired. You can't dress up bare minimum effort in fancy suits, call it selfless dedication, and expect everyday people struggling in the real world to clap like trained seals. We see the game, we see the output, and we know zero work when we see it. Drop the act.
Squaddies, let's be real for a second. Everyday folks are officially clocked out. We are done, finished. You turn on the news or open your feed in 2026, and what do you get? Another ultra-polished, carefully sanitized, PR-approved puff piece trying to convince you that up is down and red is blue. And honestly, people are gagging. The trust isn't just broken, it got thrown off a roof. Every single week, mainstream media drops these heavily scripted fairy tales, thinking we're still falling for it. Oh, look at this shiny distraction. Pay no attention to the obvious double standard over here. Nah, keep it. We aren't buying what you're selling anymore. People are sick to their stomach of being spoon-fed fake perfection. Regular people working 9-to-5s are out here dealing with actual life, while the talking heads on TV act like we can't see right through the spin. We see the gymnastics. We see the hypocritical passes given to certain people while everybody else gets dragged under the bus. And here's the human truth of it. Folks don't even care about being angry anymore. They're just exhausted. When you hype up a fake narrative for the 100th time, nobody gets fooled. We just mute the TV. The audience is hitting the fast-forward button on the bullshit. We don't want the Hollywood filter. We don't want the 50-person PR team managing every single breath. Just give it to us straight. Be real, drop the act, and own up when things go sideways. Bottom line, the era of swallowing spoon-fed propaganda with a smile is dead and buried. Viewers want accountability, they want raw honesty, and if the mainstream spin machine can't deliver that, people are just going to keep turning the channel, period. Look, let's stop whispering around it. People are out here flat out saying it now. Pack up the crowns and close the show. And can you really blame anybody? Regular people are out here counting pennies at the grocery store, staring at utility bills that look like phone numbers, and then turning on the TV to see a bunch of folks wearing million-dollar gold hats paid for by public money. The math is not mathing, family. Think about what abolish the monarchy actually means to a regular person working a normal job. It's not about sitting around in some university lecture hall debating history. It's about common sense. In what other job on planet Earth can you inherit a golden palace, a fleet of luxury cars, and a full-time PR crew just because of who your great-great-granddaddy was? If I tell my landlord my rent should be free because of my lineage, I'm getting my stuff thrown on the curb by Tuesday. People are just fed up with the double standard. Why are we funding an ultra-wealthy soap opera while working folks are grinding 60 hours a week just to keep the lights on? Saying down with the crown isn't even about hate, it's about fairness. Folks are looking at their own bank accounts, looking at the tax bill and going, wait, why are we paying for this reality show again? The shiny gold paint has worn off. Everyday people want that money going back into real neighborhoods, real schools, and real healthcare, not into keeping a centuries-old cosplay alive. Time's up, the curtain's coming down. And that is a wrap on today's episode.
Listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you are a certified real one. I appreciate every single one of you for hanging out, dropping your thoughts in the comments, and laughing through the chaos with me. I'm your host, Miles, the only guy on the internet keeping it a buck with you 24/7. If you enjoyed this, do not leave me hanging. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a drop. And hey, if you want to throw some extra love to the channel, hit that super thanks button down below and leave a comment. I see you and I appreciate the love. Stay safe out there, stop letting these headlines fool you, and I will catch y'all in the very next video. I'm out.